Nail technician's absolute worst nightmare. What is it? We're going to talk about it right now on the Biz Talk. I know what my worst nightmare is. Mm-hmm. I experience it 2 times a week. Mm-hmm. Come upstairs, sit in this chair, next to you.
You literally pay for that nightmare.
I do. What is wrong with me? I need to have a conversation with myself. Meeting. I have a meeting.
Uh-huh. Can we talk about the heebie-jeebies?
I did an intro before this, and I said the word heebie-jeebies. And it doesn't even make any sense to really apply to this, but I don't know, it was on my mind. I wanted to say it.
Why
it made
was that
myself
on your
laugh.
mind?
I don't know. Because heebie-jeebies is like ew, right? Like creepy.
Ew.
Yeah.
Ew. Something's
All right.
wrong with you.
This is really heady.
Help, my boss is broken.
I still think that we should do a Biz Talk one of these times where all we talk about is nothing related to nails, but just
random,
complete random thing. Like the team puts in front of us random objects. Like, you go like to a psychiatrist and they give you like, and then we just, and they're just like, what do you guys see?
Ew,
and then we just talk about
it. It would be bad. People would know we're just wrong.
It would go left, right,
and pretty
up,
much
down.
That's all
everywhere.
of our conversations the
Every
rest
day.
of the day.
I know. It's gonna be fun. I can't wait to do it. Okay. A nail technician's worst nightmare. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about this. So, client comes in, Trace.
Yep.
Okay. Sits in front of you. You spend like maybe an hour plus, let's just say hour minimum on a set of nails with nail art, and you're done. You're stoked. The client looks at her nails and hates them. That is an awful,
it's horrible,
awful situation. I completely agree that is a nail technician's worst nightmare. So, a couple things to talk about today. First of all, you had brought up this point earlier before we started recording, but we're going to talk about how to prevent that, like things that you can do so that it doesn't, go there. But then there's always a situation, no matter what you do, there's going to be a client that maybe is just not going to be happy. So like, how do you deal with that situation right there? And then I think that's the big one.
Yeah.
Let's get to preventing that first.
Yep.
Okay. Like, how do you what are some things that you can do in your business to prevent that from happening?
So I kind of learned this the hard way,
Well, hold on a second. First of all, how did you learn it the hard way? I want to hear that story.
Well, I was going to explain
Oh,
it.
okay. Sorry.
So, especially when you work on young customers, people come in with these preset ideas of like, I would like baby throw up, like you do this mixture of chartreuse, and you're just like, no. And they just like, oh, here's my colors. And you're like, I don't know what's in your head, but that's not going to look good. Now, when I first started, I'm just, okay, that's what you want. Okay. And no, I learned that the hard way, because when you're done, if you know it's not going to look good, it's not going to look good, and they're not going to be happy 99% of the time. They're not going to go, oh, that was amazing.
Yeah.
So preventing that from happening, how I prevented it is I would tell them, this is not going to look good. Trust me, I know what these colors are going to do when I put them together. And it's just going to look like a big mud puddle.
Yeah.
And if they insisted, okay, so I'm going to do what you're asking. However, if you do not like it, I am not doing anything about it. This is what you're asking. I will do it. No problem. You're right. That's what you want. Perfect. However, if you don't like it, one, you're going to pay to have it fixed. 2, I don't have any time to get you on my books, so you're going to have to wait till your next appointment for it.
Right.
Are you good? Cool. Let's do it.
Okay. So we get back to communication is essentially what you're saying. Mm-hmm. You've got to effectively communicate with your client. You as the professional that have the experience, that you understand, even we're talking about shape, we're talking about
absolutely.
It could be anything.
Yeah, color combos. You can we can visualize what that's going to look like. And you want to be nice about it. You don't want to be like, that's going to look like crap.
Yeah.
That's the worst idea I've ever heard. Just like, well, when we put those all together, I can see what that's going to look like. It's going to kind of muddle together. It's not going to look right. Or, hey, that shape's not going to be flattering really on your fingers. I don't think you'll be happy with it. Or those nails are really going to be too long for your lifestyle, whatever it is.
Right. You've got to communicate ahead of time. But I like what you said of, in the end, if you don't like it, this is until, what do you say, like until your next appointment, you have to deal?
Yep.
Or
yeah.
So if they really do basically say, shoot, Tracey, you know what? You're so right. I completely messed up. I don't like it.
Yeah, don't tell people I did those.
Good
luck with that.
What would you say? I mean, like, honestly, like, because it's one thing to say that, but when you actually have a live client and they're being nice and they're like, I mean, if you're not being, regardless situation, if they're like, I'm so sorry, you're right. Like, I don't like this. I made a huge mistake. How can we fix this, or what can we do?
You're not good. Do I have time? I might throw a polish over the top for him, which I'm going to charge him for.
Yeah.
Or 2, hey, you might just want to polish those over those yourself. 3, I can get you in a couple days for a quick gel polish over the top. I am going to have to charge you extra for that, for the time. But again, I did express to you that I really didn't have time to fix these, and that you would have to wait for next time. But you know what? Black polish does wonders.
Yeah. I think that's a good temporary fix, at least to just get them by, and it's a nice, like, without saying I told you so, it's like, hey, I told you so.
Yeah.
But look, we'll figure something out.
Yeah, I'll work with you, or I'll make suggestions, or heck, glitter fixes everything. We can just throw a quick glitter press over the top. If I have time in the moment, I'm not going to be like, well, I told you, and just leave. Oh, you know what? I have a few minutes. It's going to take me 5 minutes to glitter press something over the top of these real quick. It's going to be an additional $5-10, whatever it is.
Exactly.
And you'll be happy.
Totally.
You might be able to see it underneath a little bit, but who cares? No one looks underneath.
And next time, trust me.
Listen to me.
Listen to what I'm telling you. Okay, so I like that. Preventative measures, huge communication, really getting that trust going between you and the client and having them trust you. In the end, well, I think we kind of answered the second question. You know what I'm saying? Well, actually, let me put this situation then. Mm-hmm. What if the client does listen to you
and still not happy?
It happens. So, right, of like, I don't like these. I like, let's say, even if her color combos were off, that's what she wanted. But then she listened and was like, okay, I got you, Trace. You're right. Go for it. And then she's still not happy with your recommendation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a different situation, right?
It is a different situation. And there's a couple, again, another preventative is, because you do have an Instagram, or should, that's your portfolio, is people should really kind of planned ahead of what they wanted.
Yeah.
And you have an idea. So that will lessen it, because people are picking your designs and they've seen them. They've previously seen them. But however, if that does happen, one, is it a standing customer that you've done on a regular basis? She rarely is unhappy with her nails, because there are customers that you're never going to please.
Sure.
You're just not. Every time they complain, you're like, why do you come back to me? I don't understand.
Right.
That's a different conversation. It's time to get rid of them. But if I had a client and she's just like, oh man, Tracey, this is a little too much, or, but usually they're pre-approving as you're going. I'll work with them. Like, well, you know what? Let's calm it down a little bit. Let's do some gel polish over a couple of them. That's going to settle it down, and I think you'll like it a little bit better. What is it that you don't like? Are they too wide? Are they too long? Are they, And if the length is what you asked me for, because you'll have a situation where people are like, "Can you shorten them a little bit? Can you shorten them a little bit
more?" Yeah.
Oh, it's too short.
Yeah.
sorry, so I can't fix that, but yeah, I'm going to try to make my customer happy. Again, is this someone that this is always happening? Another situation, is this a brand new customer? Because there are people that are out there that will come to you, and I've had this happen, come to you, and this is what they do. They go get a service done and say they're not happy with the service because they want it for free.
Right.
So that also happens.
So I think there's a lot of moving parts here. It's not so like black and white, right? Of like clear of like it's this or it's this. This is a situation. I think, especially, is it a long-time customer? That's completely different than is this a first-time customer, which, you almost give the benefit of the doubt, right? But if this customer comes back and every time they come back, they're not happy, well, then this is a customer that you probably don't want to have in your books.
Yeah.
Right.
And I've stopped, because I've had customers like that. I just dread seeing them on my book. It ruins my whole day. And I just stop and go, I don't think I'm the nail tech for you.
Yeah. And that's okay.
And it's okay, because not you. You could do perfect nails, perfect, and someone's not going to like your work. So, well, what do you mean? Why do you say that? Well, you complain every time about my what I do. Either they're going to go somewhere else or they'll change their habits.
Yeah.
And either way, you're going to be happy. So, again, communication.
Yeah, communication. And that's a completely reasonable conversation to have. If somebody continues to come back and they complain every time about your work, you're not the nail tech for them because they keep complaining about your work. So you have to have that conversation. Hey, I'm not the nail tech for you. Well, why do you say, like you said, why do you say that? Well, because every time I don't want you to be unhappy. You're always unhappy, and I want you to find somebody and then, okay, I'm sorry, I will, or thank you, appreciate it. And then, so either way it can work, but it is that communication that's key.
It's key. Yeah. And another situation is, are you brand new? You're going to have to expect that you're going to mess some things up.
For sure.
And there are going to be clients that say, I'm not happy and I don't feel like I should pay for these. Chalk it up as an experience. This is where you have to bite the bullet. You're going to go through it. We all did. If someone tells you they didn't, it's not true. We all had to do it. Now, are you confident in your work? Have you been doing nails for a long time and you're like, lady, that's exactly what you asked for. You're just trying to get out of paying for it. I clipped someone's nails off once because of it. She told me she wasn't happy, and I'm like, and she didn't want to pay for them. I'm like, cool. And I just started clipping. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, you don't get to keep the nails.
Exactly.
So again, are you confident in what you're doing? You're looking at them going, lady,
these are good.
They're good.
Yeah.
Whatever, you can tell when someone's just trying to get free stuff.
Yeah, sure.
So
sure.
They don't get to walk out with them.
Yeah. And again, that is a matter of experience and having confidence in your work and knowing like, hey, these nails are like top notch. These are great.
Yeah. It might not be perfect, but I know you got exactly what you paid for.
Totally. Absolutely. Customer facing businesses, right? Whenever you're facing, and what I mean is, when you're dealing, I'm not talking about like B2B. I'm talking business to business, where it's when people are coming through your door, like a restaurant, like a salon, and you're dealing with the general consumer day in and day out, it's communication is going to be everything.
Overload.
It needs, you have to over communicate constantly, and it's tough.
Yeah.
That's why restaurants, salons, any type of business that's consumer facing is extremely, extremely challenging because there's volume. First of all, you're dealing with a ton of individual people, personalities. Mm-hmm. And especially in nails, it's a very intimate business. Same thing with even the restaurant business is very similar because somebody's coming in and they're spending an hour with you and your restaurant, and the people in it. It's not I go to, I'm going to go to Home Depot and pick something up. I'm in, I'm out, most
Never
of the
gonna
time,
see you again.
never see you again. Or most of the time I don't talk to anybody, you
Right.
know, in a restaurant or especially a salon though, you are sitting with that customer for an hour,
Right.
at somewhere around
It's very
there.
personal.
It's very personal. It's very intimate, which makes it very challenging business,
And again, what you were saying, so many different personalities that you're just not going to please everybody.
Yeah. Impossible.
Yeah.
That is impossible. The goal is obviously you want to have exceptional customer service for your clients, but you cannot take it so hard if there's that one or two that are always consistently complaining. You've got to have a conversation with them. You may not want them on your books anymore. If it's a pattern and you see it, you might not be the tech for them, which is totally okay. But the goal is to over communicate.
Right. And practice that. We were just talking about, writing down text messages for policies
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Practice your response to these kind of situations with, a friend, your husband, whoever it is. That way, when the situation comes up, you're not in that moment because,
Yeah.
we get that flight or fight,
Yeah.
and just all of a sudden you just spurt out something and you're like, why did I just say that?
Totally.
But if you have especially if you're going to have a situation like this person complains every time she comes in, she's coming in tomorrow. You know what? I'm going to get myself a script.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to tell her. This is what I'm going to say, and kind of practice that situation.
This is something that I do on the regular and I do it in the car. I actually love doing this. Most of all, if I'm going to do some kind of presentation, I literally do the presentation in the car every single day because I have a drive. Or I don't like to practice in front of a person necessarily because it's very different in real life. But I want to feel comfortable with the words coming out of my mouth. So a lot of times I will even practice in a mirror. I will because I'm looking at myself. I can see my facial expressions. I can see
the facial expressions.
It's
is big,
huge.
right? Yeah.
It's huge. And if you're consumer facing, you want to make sure that you're not with this sour look on your face. You want to look at yourself in the mirror and you want to have the conversation and you want to practice these things over and over and over again is so good. I do it and I find it extremely helpful.
Yeah.
Extremely helpful.
But I think the one thing I will say is don't stress. It happens to everybody.
Of course.
Don't let it ruin your career.
Yeah.
Because I see people who are just they can't take it. So they stop.
Yeah.
And it's you'll get through it.
Totally. Absolutely. Let us know in the comments below if you've dealt with the situation. I'm sure everybody has, how you dealt with it. And I think it could help some others that if they haven't experienced it, when they do experience it, they're going to have something to help them through this experience. Tracey, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time on the Biz Talk.